This is what Google did. They went out and they worked with producers and artists and cinematographers, and they looked at a lot of people who deal with darker skin tones, and they built this into the OS. They built this into the processor, and they make it so that when you take pictures of people with darker skin tones, when they're next to people who have very light skin tones, we don't look like Ashy Larry all the time.
And so, no, so I was actually watching. I'm an iOS guy. I'm an iPhone guy, but I actually watched the Google Pixel 6 and 6 Pro announcement, and they were talking to some of these people that Rob mentioned, Black folks. And they mentioned in the video, it's like, when we look at a picture, we don't want to look washed out. We don't want to look bland. We don't want to look ashy.
Right.
So I thought that was funny simply because that type of comment, that sort of dialogue, that sort of detail is something that is important to us.
That's right.
And the fact that Google was willing to and then actually produced something as a result of working with people who voices aren't always heard, I thought that was pretty dope.
Absolutely. It's funny. I don't know if it was the Wired review. The Wired review was super thorough. But I think I was looking at something else on my phone. I can't remember, but the woman had taken multiple pictures with an iPhone 13 Pro, a Samsung S21, and the Pixel Pro, and the pictures were better. I mean, by and large. I mean, there were some when I was like, actually, the Apple looked a little bit better there or whatever. But by and large, it was in insane difference in the coloring, the brightness, everything. It really made a huge difference. So I got to give it up to Google for that feature.
So I want to take a second to explain, because we know we have listeners on this show who are fairer complected, and they may not understand what the issues are, because this is just how it's always been, and we've had to just deal with it. But when you think about photography, since its inception, it's basically been a Western world thing. It has been, all the technology has been tuned for well over 100 years to white skin tones.
Brightness,
right. So when you take pictures, when you have set for one skin tone, and then you're using those same settings on our skin tones, you're just not going to get the same results. And companies have had the opportunity to deal with this,
years
for years
and years.
And they do, but they kind of do it in post. So you got to take the picture and you got to upload it into this whatever triple fat goose software in order to, adjust the correction, do all that color correction. But you can do this on the phone without having to go through all that.
Right. So it really is a big deal, because this is just something you can't turn it off. And if you guys remember, so I know you guys remember, but our episode 0, where we were talking about algorithms and just why they're not filling us. This is one of the areas where we're not where we're not felt. And Google is now they had some issues. I think, was it 2015, 2016?
Well,
they actually had the issue where
response to that.
Right. So back, a little while back, they had an issue where they were identifying in Google Photos Black people as gorillas, and it was the software that was doing it. And they said, we are going to do better on this. They've absolutely said this. So, as I'm reading all the articles about Real Tone, they actually have done better. They've been working on this going back since before 2020 with this, to where, one of the first things they did was they started loading up significantly more diverse data sets. And when I say diverse, I mean Black. They're putting Black people and brown people.
It's just like it's I hate to cut you off, but it's such a small thing.
Yeah.
Just do it anyway.
Data. Just get better. The data exists. It's out there. Just get better data to train your systems and your AI. I just don't. It's almost like obstinance at this point. Like they just, other companies are just like, no, we don't want to do it. Like. It's not even a thing that is hard. Just use more data. Like, come on.